Okay, due to iRead yesterday, you did not have a DMR. DMR is returning today, so be prepared to complete your DMR at 12:15, and we will review those skills tomorrow. Alrighty, we are going to take a look at continuing our target of telling time to the nearest minute, and recognizing if that time is occurring in the AM or the PM. Okay, we're going to continue that practice today. Here is an explanation of your goal.
Today, we will be telling time to the nearest minute using an analog clock. Remember, we're going to be using our math vocabulary, such as the hour hand, the minute hand, and the face of the clock. Today, we will also be including AM and PM as we write the time.
Okay, if you would please, on Seesaw, you have an activity that has just released to you. Share your screen. I'm sharing my screen. You are going to click on the activities light bulb to refresh that feed, and it will load that activity up top for you. Telling time to the nearest minute is what we're going to work on. Our directions tell us we are going to work together on Zoom today on slides 1 through 9. Some of that will be teacher-led, some of it will be partner, and then your independent slides will be the remainder of the slides, okay? Alrighty, your responses can be added now. The first slide that you will see is our success criteria slide. We can go ahead and skip over that because we just watched it together, and we'll move on to slide 2, okay? These are the parts of a clock. Let's quickly review these because it's been a few days due to iRead.
Let's do an example together, talking about these double meanings of numbers on the face of a clock. We're going to look at the hour hand first to determine the hour. Then we will look at the minute hand. The hour hand is the shorter arrow, the shorter hand on the face of the clock. Here is the hour hand. The hour hand is pointing in between 2 hours and 3 hours. Since it is past the 2 hours, we know it is in the 2 o'clock hour. Now we can look at our minute hand. Our minute arrow or minute hand is the longer hand. It will point to the very edge of the clock, which helps us if it's pointing to one of the minute tick marks. If you start at the top of the clock, you will start with 0 minutes. We record 0 minutes like this. But I notice the minute hand is not pointing at 0 minutes. When we move around the face of the clock, we count 5 tick marks or 5 minutes, which is why the 1 is equal to 5 minutes. If we count 5 more minutes, we will be at 10 minutes. If we keep counting around the clock by 5s, we will end up where the minute hand is pointing. Let's start at 0 and skip count by 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. The minute hand in this example is pointing directly at the 7, which is equal to 35 minutes. If you know your math facts times 5, you will know that 7 groups of 5 is equal to 35. Your multiplication facts with 5 can help you as you look at time on a clock. Our hour hand is pointing past the 2, So we know it's in the 2 o'clock hour. Our minute hand is pointing at 35 minutes. Our time shows 2 o'clock and 35 minutes, or 2:35.
Okay, so that's our quick review. We already knew that information. Slide 3 is a video that I'd like for you to watch on your own if you feel that you need more practice or time. We're going to take a look at doing this live together today, so I'm going to skip this video. But if you still feel confused during independent practice, you have access to a teaching video of an example, okay? But we're going to do the same thing in these slides. Alrighty, so let's take a look at a completed example. This is a completed example where we see on Saturday, Jada goes into the kitchen to make breakfast, okay? We know that because it is breakfast, it is going to be a.m. We know that a.m. is before noon, and we know that noon is the afternoon, so we know it's a.m., okay? We're looking at this clock to determine the time. This hour hand is just past the 9, so that's why we see 9 recorded here for our hour. You will notice right here that our minutes are not on an hour indicator. They are past it. So that's when we have to add that counting by ones. So as Ms. Renale showed here, we can see that it was 0 minutes, and then we went to the 1, which is 5. And then there was 1, 2 individual tick marks past 5. So 9:07 is the time that we wrote. Okay. Let's practice this live, excuse me. Go ahead to slide 5, please. We're going to complete this together. On this slide, if I am writing, you are writing. Oh, I apologize, that's when we just did together. Slide 6, my bad. Slide 6. Dijon's mom said it is time to come inside and wash up before it gets too dark. Okay, first things first, let's figure out what's happening in this text. It's time to come inside, so I'm going to assume that Dijon has been outside, and it's time to wash up before it gets too dark, okay? We know that it starts to get dark after noon. So in the PM is when it starts to get dark. So we're going to record that it is in the PM. And the way that we know that is because it's going to get dark. That means nighttime is coming. The sun is setting, and the sun sets in the afternoon time, after 12 o'clock noon, okay? We are asked to determine what time Dijon's mom asked him to come in. So let's take a look at our hour hand. We can see that our hour hand is here. It is past the 7. It is not yet touched the 8. So our hour is 7. It is 7 something p.m. Questions about how we determined the hour? Yes, Daniel.
Wait, do you want me to tell what the time is? 7:28?
Oh, you already know. Great. No, I was asking if there were questions about how to find the hour. But I'm glad you got it down. All right, let's take a look at our minute hand now. So our minute hand is in blue. And as Ms. Renale pointed out, our minute hand comes closer to the edge of the clock, which is helpful to us because we have to count these individual tick marks. We're going to start at 0. Okay. And we are at 0, and we're going to count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and I can't go to 30 because we're not there yet. So I've got to start counting by ones. So I am at 25 right now. Go ahead and write 25, please, so you have an awareness of where we're starting from counting by ones. 25, we're going to count by 1 now. 26, 27, 28. It is 7, 7:28 p.m. Any questions about how we found those minutes? Okay, let's take a look at slide 6. This also says with your teacher. Mr. Clark's class is lining up for lunch. Okay, they're lining up for lunch. I know that lunch normally happens right around the middle of the day when we're awake. Okay, now I want to take a look at my clock because I know that sometimes, like for example, us yesterday, we ate lunch at 11:25, and that's still in the morning time. That's still a.m. Other people might eat lunch at 12:30, and that's in the p.m. or afternoon. So we got to look at our clock to see if it's going to be a.m. or p.m. because people can eat lunch in either one. Okay, so let's take a look. We've got our hour hand. Our hour hand is after the 11. It has not touched the 12. So it is 11. All right, so 11 tells me that it's going to be a.m. Okay, because we know that it changes to p.m. at 12 or at noon, and it's not noon yet. So 11 a.m. So Mr. Clark's class is lining up for lunch in the a.m. like we did yesterday.
Excuse me.
Okay, let's take a look at our next hand, which is our minute hand, and it's extended all the way to this edge, which helps us see those individual tick marks. All right, we start at 0. We've got 5, 10, 15. It's not to 20, so from 15, I'm going to start counting by ones. 15, 16, 17, 11, 17 a.m. I love the excitement. Justin knew what it was. Awesome. Aiden G did too in that chat. Perfect.
I said it was 11:16.
Oh, sometimes those are hard to see, but remember, you can always zoom in too, Justin, and you can see that there's 16 and then 17 is touching. So feel free to use that zoom tool if you need that as well. Okay. Alrighty.
Can you go back to slide 6?
There you are, sir. I'm glad that my instincts were right. I am taking a grade on what you're going to complete today. And I knew my instincts were right because I was able to look at your work that you completed in the last week's. And then today you're all like, I know the time, which is great. So today's work is going to be for a grade, just as a heads up, okay? All righty, slides 8 and 9 are going to be practiced with a partner, okay? You're getting ready to go into a breakout room and you're going to practice with a partner. Allow me, since you are so excited about knowing the time, to remind you what partner work looks like and sounds like. This is an example of cheating. Cheating would be, hey, Leah, I already looked at the clock and I know that it's 12:14, so 12:14 p.m. That's cheating. Why? Because Leah didn't get to work. What's Leah going to say? Nothing. Okay, so here might be a better example of how you could work. Leah, I looked at the clock and I think that the hour hand is pointing at the 12. What do you think? And then Leah can say, yeah, and I looked at the minutes and the minutes say 24. So now I did something and Leah did something. See how it's partner work? 2 people working together. Okay. So I'm not going to turn on screen sharing. Why? Because you both have the same work in front of your face and I don't want someone doing this. Here, I got it. No. Okay. So we're not going to be doing work for our partner. Okay. No work for our partner. You're going to talk together. One of you can do the hour, one of you can do the minute, one of you can lead slide 8, the other one of you could lead slide 9, but both people need to talk, okay? Both people need to talk. All right, let's get your breakout room set up, and you are going to complete slides 8 and 9 with a partner. You just got back from your rooms with your partners. I am going to ask for students to share their screen for the answer to slide 8 and explain to me what you and your partner decided, okay? Daniel, thank you, sir. Would you like to share your screen for slide 8, please, and tell us the answer that you and your partner came up with?
We came up with 7:36 a.m.
Okay, how did you know it was AM?
because it says students are walking into class as school starts.
Awesome. So AM tells us that it is morning time because we know that school starts in the morning. Wonderful. Daniel, how did you and your partner know that the minute was 36?
Because we counted from 5 from 1 all the way to 7, and then we counted on to 1 minute.
And why did you add 1 minute to that 35? Why did you only move 1 minute forward?
Because the line is not at 7 and it's not at 8 yet.
Good. So that individual division, we call those tick marks. It's 1 tick mark after that 35 time. Fantastic, Daniel. Look at you. First day in Miss Sousa's Zoom, and you're already sharing your screen and rocking it. Wonderful. Thank you, sir. All righty. If you did not get 7:36 a.m., you did not have the correct answer. So feel free to change that or ask questions about it. I am now looking for someone who feels comfortable sharing slide 9. Josh, why don't you go ahead, sir, and share your slide 9 and explain to us your answer?
Okay.
This is where we insert game show music. Do 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 do. Is sharing working? I think, Josh, I can actually share your screen for you if you can't figure it out. Do you want me to share it? Okay, so I'll share it and you talk. All right, here is Josh's screen right here. All right, Josh, tell us what you and your partner did.
So me and Leah did it to where I would count the hour and she would count the minutes, and I counted the hour to 6 because it was past 6, but it wasn't on the 7, which then she counted from the 1 by 5 to get to 14 because she counted 5, 10, 15, and then she saw that it was 1 behind 15, and we got 14 minutes, and then we figured out that it said dinner, and then normally dinner's during the PM, so we got 6:14 p.m.
Josh Flowers, I got a little bit lightheaded because I was just so impressed. My brain couldn't handle all of the awesomeness. Did you guys hear how Josh shared how he and his partner worked? He shared their strategy first, so they were partner rocking it, and he went straight through. I hope you caught what he said Leah did on those minutes. Leah, instead of counting forward from 10 4 times, she knew to go backwards from 1 or backwards 1 from 15. So you can also count backwards to find that time as well. Josh, my man, thank you for teaching us today, sir. Well done. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Leah, did you have something to add, my dear?
So what we did, I actually shared my screen, but I whited out the thing. So the answers, what if they were there? I can just reveal them because I whited them out, so I can just reveal them.
Ah, okay. So you knew like, okay, I worked ahead, but I need to make sure my partner and I can talk and see if we agree together. Great strategy too, ma'am. Thank you. All righty, that brings us to your independent work today. I did share with you that I am going to be collecting a grade on your independent work. Okay, and that's fair. We've talked about telling time several days now, and you guys are so excited and you got those times ready to go. Okay, so slides 9 through 18 are your 17 are your independent work for a grade. Okay, on slides, slide 10, I'm sorry. On slides 10, 11, and 12, there is a digital clock, and you're going to circle the correct analog clock that shows the same time. Okay, so slides 10, 11, and 12, you're going to circle the analog clock. On slides 13, 14, and 15, you're going to look at the analog clock and you're going to circle the digital time. Okay, what digital time is matching the clock? All right. On slide 16, you're going to write the questions about your own life. Okay, what time do you go to bed? Be sure to label AM or PM. What time do you get home from school? You're like, I'm on Zoom. What do you mean what time? I'm already home. What time is school over for you? And what time do you wake up? Okay, so you're going to fill in those times with AM or PM. For this, I'm going to grade if you understand AM or PM. Okay, I'm not looking for your time. Like some of you might go to bed at 8:30, some of you might go to bed at 9. Your time is fine. I'm looking for, do you understand if that is an AM or a PM time? Okay. On slide 17, I am going to grade your vocabulary usage and your explanation of today's skill. Okay, so you're going to use the microphone, and that is a vocabulary grade. A lot of you turn this slide in blank. If you turn that slide in blank, your first vocabulary grade is a 0% F because you didn't do the work. Okay, do the work. When you finish that task, slide 18 has some telling time games that you can play to practice telling your time. You also have time telling assignments on Prodigy and on Zearn. Okay, those are your tasks for today.